What's good, Spurs Nights? It's your boy Clan, the Spurs fan. I want to go ahead and talk about tonight. So I'm going live, of course, like I always do. It seems like it's just like a normal thing now, but I'm going to be on here for no more than like 10, 15 minutes. So let's talk about it right now. So let's talk about what's going on with the Spurs, what happened in game 2, and then I'm going to go into how I feel about game 3. And I got to really hurry this up because I ain't got too much time. So it's like raining like crazy outside. Okay, so game 2, complete bullshit. But let me tell you one thing that I'm taking from the San Antonio Spurs and these Denver Nuggets right now. I said this, and this is going to be a cocky, arrogant thing to say. Really cocky, arrogant. And usually, when I get on here, I'm trying to break things down, trying to think of it, logically, everything. I'm just going to be real with you and how I feel as a fan right now. Game 2, ref screwed us over. And yes, the Spurs allowed them to come back by 19, but at the same time, you got to think of everything that was going on in that situation. Brent Forbes is fouled on a 3. They don't call it. Popovich is trying to get a timeout. They give him a tech. They give Nuggets an extra point. Like, it was a lot of bullshit. But I'm just going to be real. And this is how I feel about the series. Denver Nuggets don't have a chance in hell of beating us. And that's not necessarily saying do they have a chance of taking us to 6 or whatever. I ain't saying that. I'm telling you, Denver Nuggets do not have a chance in hell. If the Spurs can do what the Spurs need to do, Denver Nuggets do not have a chance. And I can tell you right now, just from the way that I'm seeing them play, the way that I'm watching them, the way that they need their coach to exert so much energy just to get them in games, they look like a high school team as far as their mentality. And the reason why they need this is because they remind me of the OKC Thunder when they first started off, when everybody was looking at them like, damn, OKC is on the come up. And when they went against the Lakers in the playoffs and lost, that's this type of team. Because I'm watching them, and they really, really, really need their crowd. And by the Spurs being able to split it 1-1 like they've done, they just have to take care of business. If you can just be consistent with the way that you play during the game, Denver is not going to be able to hold with you. They're just not. We've controlled 90% of this series thus far, and I don't see this changing at all tonight. I think the Spurs should come out. I think we should destroy them at home because Denver Nuggets it's blatantly obvious that they need their crowd. And you do not want to give up any away game for them because they really, really need that crowd. I mean, even after the game, Murray, they asked Murray about his performance, his fourth quarter performance, which was amazing, by the way. Like, Derek White couldn't do anything with him. That was crazy because Derek White's an excellent defender. But he was talking about his fourth quarter performance, and he basically said, man, I was looking at the crowd, and when they had their towels waving, and it just pumped me up, and I was like, yeah! And I'm like, really? This is a very young team. This is the type of team that needs their crowd tremendously. So when I see this series and the direction in which I see this series going, if the Spurs can just handle business, do what they have to do, be the veterans, they could whoop Nuggets. Now, here's another takeaway, because I'm not just going to put all the blame on the refs and then say, I'm not calling Nuggets trash. Nuggets is a very good team. They're second in the West for a reason. Don't get me wrong. But I think they also had the #1 home record this season as well. But, that's neither here or there. One thing that I do want to point out, and this is me critiquing our San Antonio Spurs, because when you lose, it's not just all on the refs. You did something. You're up by 19 and you give it up. So there's one player I want to point out, and I do not want to talk bad about him whatsoever because I love him. I think he's a phenomenal talent. I think that he's a great veteran. I think he's there for our guys. I think he's valuable. And I was on a podcast last night with a Bucking Spurs podcast, and he said that this guy was his X factor. I can't disagree with it. Rudy Gay has to do better. And I know that we can look at the stats for game 1 and say Rudy Gay did his thing. I'm not going to go that far, because even in game 1, Rudy Gay got a rebound and he allowed Murray to steal it from him. And then Murray got an and one, and that virtually put the Nuggets back in the game. That gave them momentum. Rudy Gay is making a lot of mistakes, and a lot of they seem like rookie mistakes where he's rushing shots. He's complaining about calls. The ball is, and it's irritating because I know, and we all know, if this was a rookie that was out there that was doing this, Pop wouldn't put him out there. And Rudy Gay is doing things that is inexcusable for a Popovich-led team. So he has to be tougher. We look at DeMar DeRozan, watch DeMar DeRozan's demeanor. He's a tough mofo. He is not taking anything from anybody. He is going at your throat. Derek White, same thing. He's just doing his thing. You know, Derek White kind of laid back, but he's been way more vocal in this series. He's been amazing. LA here, there, but LA's this last game, he had a chip on his shoulder. So everyone has a chip on the shoulder. You know, Brent Forbes. I don't mean to leave out Brent Forbes. Brent Forbes always got a chip on his shoulder. But I just feel like everybody on this team is having a chip on their shoulder. We do not need our third or possibly fourth best player coming out there and complaining about calls, or sitting on the ground when something happens and sitting there for too long. Or it's just a bad demeanor. So I really hope that Rudy Gay comes out a little more aggressive with a chip on his shoulder. That's the main thing. Just have a chip on your shoulder. If you mess up on the offensive end, you mess up. It's okay. Just take it in stride, say you messed up, and keep it moving. You know what I mean? So that's all I got to say on that. But yeah, overall, I think that we should take this win. I think it should be convincingly. When it comes to the Denver Nuggets, I understand that they're the second seed, but the way that Mike Malone speaks, he's nervous. I mean, he speaks like an inspirational speaker. He's speaking like a high school coach, where it just takes so much inspiration to get his guys to go. And I think that that's going to be very troublesome against a Popovich-led team. But it's going to be a fight. They're not going to lay down for anybody. They're going to try to take our first game just like we took their first game. It's game three. Game three is typically the most important game of the series, because you think about it, if you're up 2-0, then you go up 3-0 and no one's ever came back from 3-0. If you're down 0-2, you know that, so you're trying to get your first win. If you split 1-1, then the team is trying to split 1-1 as well. So 3 is always like the most important. Right when you're changing towns is the most important. So I understand that. I understand that Denver Nuggets is a good team. But I think we got kind of lucky with this first round matchup, if I'm being real with you. I think we got kind of lucky because they're extremely young, and it's showing, and it has shown very quickly. Let me look at some of you guys' comments. Dude, I was pissed. Okay, we're talking about the refs. Yeah, they suck. They've been playing catch up for the majority of the series. Yeah, they have. We would get a dub if we got that Bryn call and Pop's yeah. Spurs by 20. It should be that. Forbes and Rudy missed a lot of shots, for sure. You think Rudy is doing that because he's inexperienced in the playoffs? If that makes sense. You know, that's a really good point. But I'm going to combat that point by saying that Rudy Gay, I thought, was excellent last season in the playoffs. I think that it's one of those things where I feel like Rudy Gay has played in so many games in his career. And sure, they haven't necessarily been playoff games, but he's played so many till playoff intensity probably isn't too far off from as many fourth quarter overtime games that he's played in intense situations. So I don't think that's it. I think last season he did fine. I think he really took on, hold on, let me start driving back. I think he really took on Kawhi's role pretty well. Of course he wasn't Kawhi, but I just really admired the fact last season that he took on that role, and he didn't have an attitude as if he was going to lose. He didn't have an attitude as if, you know, he couldn't take Kawhi's place. So I really respected that. And I think that when it's all said and done, I think that Rudy Gay All it comes down to is attitude. If Rudy Gay can just have an attitude, be pissed off, say, I'm trying to win a championship, we're fine. But this whole thing where being a diva and turning the ball over and looking at the ref every play, no. Like I said a few videos ago, y'all, like, it's us against the world. You know what I mean? Like, there is no, looking for refs. It's us against the world. We got to come out with that type of mentality. And honestly, and let's just be blatantly obvious, guys. I mean, blatantly honest. We don't have the type of talent to afford to complain about calls. We don't have that type of talent. We're a talented team as far as the development aspect, but even when you look at the Denver Nuggets as far as just like raw talent, they might have us on it, so you can't go in there and complain about calls. What's going to make you better is be tougher than a typical NBA team. Be a Clippers, be a, I don't want to say Rock, because Rocks can get soft, in certain moments, but you be like a Clippers, you know what I mean? So I think we'll do fine. I'm not, or anything like that. I think Rudy Gay get it together. And if you guys saw that, I already posted the quote like a couple days. It was right after the game, and Rudy Gay basically said he acknowledged how bad he's been playing, and he said he's gonna do better. Hey, when I saw a comment, I just want to point it out because I thought it was so funny. And somebody commented on one of these videos, and they said, "Man, how come when I turned on this video, I knew you were gonna have a hat on and you were gonna be in your car?" And I was like, that is so funny, because it's like every single video at this point. And I'm not even gonna be able to live stream tonight, so I'm kind of upset about that. But I'm watching the game. You already know that. I have my memes ready. I'll be cheering with you guys. I'll be posting everything and whatnot. And I got my lucky Spurs hoodie on, so your boy real good today. But yeah, I appreciate all the love. I appreciate you guys getting on here. Leave comments below, because once this video upload, because I got to get off. But until next time, y'all, deuces. Spurs.